foreign correspondent Elizabeth Palmer now following the story from London and joins us now. Liz, what is the latest here?
Well, there's still no explanation for what happened and when it happened, when things began to go wrong. What we know, we have gleaned mostly from that amateur video taken by people in and around the airport. The plane came in, we're told by an aviation expert here, in high winds with some blowing dust, which could have affected visibility. It hit the runway very hard, hard enough to break the landing gear, which takes some considerable force. It then stopped. Smoke was billowing from the fuselage. The emergency chutes were deployed. We're told that Boeing 777 has to be evacuatable, if you like. Crew have to be able to get all the passengers off in a minute and a half, even if half the exits are blocked. They apparently did get everyone out. There was an explosion, possibly from remaining fuel, and then, of course, the emergency vehicles massed around, and now the fire is out. There was an early report that the pilot had announced to the passengers he was going to have to make a hard landing because the landing gear, there was something wrong with it. We're now hearing from a passenger CBS interviewed, that there was no announcement. As far as the passengers were concerned, it was going to be a perfectly ordinary, normal landing. And then when it hit the runway, it was hard enough to break off the undercarriage. Now that, not only does that plane have a very good safety record, so does Emirates Airlines. And so the investigation will now be beginning, starting with the cockpit voice recorder and some attempt to try and figure out what went wrong. Josh?
And I know, Liz, you will be following the story throughout the morning here, and we'll provide updates as they become available. Liz Palmer in London, we thank you. We now want to bring in former NTSB Chairman Mark Rosenker, joins us by phone. And Mark, lots to unpack here, but let's just begin with the videos that we are seeing. It seems remarkable that all aboard that plane were able to evacuate safely.
Well, the crew training is absolutely critical in this, and it clearly was done in an expeditious, efficient, and very safe manner. These aircraft, as Liz earlier said, that they have to be certified to be able to be evacuated within 90 seconds with half of the doors closed, and that's with a full airplane. This airplane is capable, depending upon how it is configured, to have 451 passengers on board. In this particular case, it was 282 people with 18 crew. So these crew members are to be congratulated, obviously.
And Mark, again, Liz did mention both the safety record of the aircraft in question as well as the airline. Does it then suggest that this really is something off the grid?
Well, certainly, but anytime you have an accident like this, there is a chain of events. It's more than one thing. When you put the chain together, you in fact get the catastrophic ending. If you pull one of the links of the chain out, odds are you won't have the accident. The investigators are going to be able to pull the cockpit voice recorder, the flight data recorder. They'll be able to interview the pilots. They'll be interviewing the cabin crew and passengers. They'll also be looking at the evidence itself, the actual aircraft remains. They'll have enough information to be able to determine what happened, how it happened, and then, of course, make recommendations to prevent it from happening again.
Mark Rosenker, as always, your insights very much appreciated today.
You bet.